find us over here on the iPad. Alrighty. Okay. Hello everyone. Happy Monday. Gonna give it just a second for some people to pop on. When you join me, please say hello and let me know where you're watching from. If there is no red box says live right here, that means you're watching the replay. Hey Cindy, welcome, welcome. I hope you have had a great Monday. I may not be able to speak properly tonight because I had a wild Monday at the office, so my eyes are still spinning. But we should be having some fun and relaxing now, here in just a few minutes. So it's been, what a day. At least it went fast. The day flew by, and I'm glad to be home now and being able now to play with my fun stuff. So I'm going to give it just a minute more to thank you, Cindy, to let people pop on. They may still be getting home from work, but I've already found it on the iPad. It appears that I'm going to be able to see comments tonight, so that's a good thing. So just a couple more. I'm gonna go ahead and clean the surface of the water. When I put this down, you're gonna see that there's a little bit of blue. I used the water from this weekend at my show, and so there was a lot of blue being done. And so the water has a blue cast because it kind of keeps whatever you've been doing lately. And it won't hurt anything, but I wanted to let you know that that's gonna happen. Excuse me, I ate my dinner super quick when I got home from work, and my throat's all full of phlegm. Excuse me. But I'm gonna go ahead and point you down. I appreciate everyone who's on here and will join. So let's get started. I can't wait. This is what I've been waiting for all day. So if you get kind of queasy, close your eyes for a second. I'm gonna have to get up close and personal in here so I get this at the correct angle. All right, there we go. Now I know you can't see the whole tank, but let's see. Let's see if I can do this a little bit better. There, how's that? You can't see the whole tank, but I don't know how to do it so you can see the whole thing. It's just, this thing is so long. And if you notice, that it's almost filled to the top. I made 18 gallons of water. To try to fill this thing, because if you remember from last week, I am going to attempt another 10-yard roll of ribbon tonight. And this is 2.5-inch ribbon. So I needed this tank to be filled at least 2.5 inches deep. And I put, well, almost 6 3-gallon bottles of water in here. Just taking care of some bubbles. Shouldn't bother us too much. And if you're new, my name is Linda Anderson. I am, hello Karen. I am the owner of Aqueous Silk. This is Ebru water marbling. This is a very ancient technique done with modern supplies. I'm very thankful that I can do it with modern supplies. So we're going to be floating paint on the surface of the water, moving the paint around, and then I will be working my way through a 10-yard roll of ribbon. And tonight I have decided I am going to use, let's see if I can do this without having them fall in, red, orange, yellow, and white as my colors. I thought that might be kind of nice and bright for summertime. So I will get started. Again, the blue you see in the tank already is from what was left over from this weekend. I took 4 bottles of water to my show. I need 2 per tank. I had my bandana tank, which was a smaller one, and my hat tank. And they each take, well, the bandana takes about 1.5 and the hat tank takes 2. So I came home with about 3 3/4 because every time I clean the tank, that pulls some of the water out. So you use water every time you clean it. So let's get started. Oh, that's right. I forgot, these are not opened. I thought they were when I'll be running the house real quick. I forgot all about these being brand new, tiny little bottles. If I didn't have to go into the house to get something after my live is starting, this just wouldn't be one of my lives. No matter how hard I plan, there's always something that comes up. So, see if we can get these open. The white's open. Let's open the yellow. They looked like they were open. Yellow's open. I put them, this is all new paint. I put them in these tiny bottles because I didn't want very much paint being exposed to the elements. It kind of hurts the integrity of the paint if it's heated and cooled and sitting in the sun and what have you. So I have wanted to try these tiny bottles. All right, let me get the caps on the others to try to have the least amount of paint out when I go to shows as possible. And I did not take my refills. I was so worried because I didn't take my refill bottles, which I'm always used to having with me. But I did just fine. So, okay. Hi, Joyce. Welcome, welcome. Hi, Danielle. Hey, Patsy. So, here we go. Let's see how it drips from these bottles. This is where it's going to make me slow down. I always like to go at 100 miles per hour. And it's okay if it's not completely solid because my ribbon is white. I just put this white in the tank because if you've watched before, you know this is about surface tension. We want lots of paint in the tank so the red, yellow, and orange will be nice and vibrant. Rather than all spread out and very muted. So now I do know that these tiny bottles drip a little bit slower than my big ones. And after I did last week, pardon me, when I did the 1.5 inch ribbon, I learned that I really need to do 3 passes. I can come down on one end or one side, go up on the other side, and then come down through the middle, but I don't want to loop around again. As you pull the paint out of the tank on the item you're marbling, the paint comes with it, and that gives more room for what's left in the tank to spread out and become a little bit more pale. And so I noticed that as the ribbon went on, as I was rolling it back onto the spool, that it got a little bit lighter. Not anything drastic, but I like it to be very consistent. If you are unrolling, excuse me, a roll of ribbon, you don't want it to change intensity of colors halfway through it. I do know that you can, there's lots of things you could do with it, even if it isn't quite the same intensity. And it may be one of those things that I notice, but not everybody would notice. So I'm gonna get this right, I tell you. The one I did on the silver silk ribbon, it looks really pale, but I think it's because of the silver. So again, we're just putting down our base coat, and I don't care if it's solid, I'm just putting paint down. During my lunch hour today, I was watching some fun techniques and different patterns being made. I've done them before, but I need to make some new. I actually have a rake that's as long as this tank. It also has teeth broken out of it, and I need to make some new ones, and that may have convinced me that I need to get busy and do that. It was so fun being at a show and out in public last weekend on Saturday. I haven't done that since last August, I think. I did have a show last August. Okay, we are gonna call that good. I'm gonna get a drink, guys, so I can get this frog out of my throat. My allergies have been so bad, but it's worth it. Lilacs are almost in bloom, and apple trees are blooming. Everything's blooming, and I can't breathe. By the afternoons, I get this frog in my throat, and my eyes feel like I have sandpaper in them. And that's after taking allergy medicine in the morning. I'm super sensitive to medication, so I have to be careful, because things that say non-drowsy still will put me to sleep. I was so tired from the show. It's a lot of work setting these up, at my events up, and taking it down, and then it was storming right as we were getting into the truck to pull away. The winds just came howling in, and lightning and thunder. I was so thankful I was already on my way home when that started. So as you can tell, we have enough paint in here to push that red to look red and not pink. And that's what we want. Hello, Cindy. And I can't see all the comments as I'm working. I will go back and answer any questions, so please feel free to add any questions you have. So now we're going to do the yellow. If you have not watched before, the colors will never blend on the surface of the water. It will not become muddy at all. I want plenty of color. As I said, the ribbon is white. It's a 2.5-inch wired ribbon. And as I'm working, if you decide you would like a hat, a scarf, a bandana, let me know. Just shoot me a message and we can talk pricing and what colors. We can work it all through, and then I can make it live next Monday. Okay, I'm going to come back with some more red. See how the red became smaller after I put the yellow in? I feel like down here there's not nearly as much red as there is at the other end. Pardon me. I have done a scarf in red, yellow, orange, and a little bit of black, and it turned out so beautiful. So I want to make sure there's plenty of red in this design. And for the record, I'm not using pink tonight. It's my go-to. I love pink and I love red, white, and blue. So those are my favorites. So now we'll add the orange. And I'm not putting this on with the broom straw tonight. I am just using the bottle. I believe last time when I made ribbon, I splattered it on and it did look really cool, but I'm going to swirl this tonight. All right. Now I will come back with some more red. And then I cannot end with red unless I have a ton of, we'll see how it does actually. I don't want it to look pink, I want a nice red. I made lots of hats this weekend. I had an idea for something to try for a new hat for myself. I was going to experiment, but I had to use that hat and sell it, so I didn't get to try my idea. So that'll have to wait for another day. And I did get some of my favorite paper. Well, I'll be marbling a little bit of paper. I don't go back to the Eagle Market until early in June. Next week, not this coming weekend, but the following weekend, I will be at my daughter's college graduation, and she's graduating with her master's degree. So, won't be able to go then. Just saw a bubble. Had to pop that bubble. Just keep layering this paint on until I feel like there's enough and I like the way it looks. Look at that orange really wants to push today. I think that's kind of interesting. Every color will behave differently on different days. Depends on the humidity, the temperature, all that stuff. So this art form is always challenging, which makes it interesting, and you never know what color is going to do what. So it's always kind of a mystery. So difficult to get both ends exactly the same, and I will never get both ends exactly the same, and that's part of the charm of this. I do see a few bubbles in here, so I'll go back before I start moving the paint. And all right, I think that looks pretty good. Hello, Holly. So there's that. So now I'm just gonna I want it to be very random because I have to pick it up and hold it out when I do the next batch, next tank when I fill it again. So I want the design to be very random. You don't want a design where you'll be able to see where one design started and the next ended, or vice versa. Oh, this is so much fun. It's so relaxing. My favorite part. Again, this is a very full tank. To consider where my pieces will be placed in the water and make sure that there's enough movements that I don't have a whole lot of big blocks of color. Not that that would be bad at all. Here's one little spot I want to move. All right, get that moved here. All right, we're about ready to start the placement of the ribbon. Oh, you guys, I could just move this forever. This is the most fun. Just making little motions through that paint just to get it to kind of fill the areas. And here's like a blank spot right here, and over here there's a couple, and those are going to have more white in it. So I like the way that looks. So this is the ribbon I'm going to be using. It's just a white burlap type ribbon. And so here we go. Let me get my assistant, my very willing assistant. Okay, dear, I'm ready. I have my rinse bucket right down over to my right. And the ribbon will, when I start taking it out of the tank, it will go right into that rinse bucket. There's aliens in Alaska? Over here. I pulled him away from finding out if there's aliens in Alaska or not. And again, I want both sides printed, so I'm going to put it down on its side. Then we're going to make the corner down at the end. Work around all the lights and camera equipment. Wipe my hands. And I'm trying not to touch the ribbon again with icky hands, because that will leave a blank spot. Okay. Now I'm going to turn, and we're going to go right down the center. Okay, so that's where we're going to end, right there. Now I'm going to start pulling this out. I don't know why I just spent all that time drying my hands, because now it's going to get gucky. So here's the way it's going to look coming out of the tank. Right down into the bucket. I'm making one heck of a mess at the end of this table. All right. So now I'm going to have to clean this, and then we will start again. There we go. The table wiped up, kind of. Really didn't want it to start dripping off here and running onto the other ribbon. So let me get the paper. Again, if you're asking questions, I will go back and answer them. They won't stay up on the iPad, and my hands are usually gucky, so I can't touch it. Technical term, gucky. But see how it looks now that we've taken all of that out, the paint that was on the ribbon, and this also kind of got mixed. If you swirled and swirled and swirled and swirled, it would be darker than this, but this is how it would look. So you really lose the definition of a pattern if you swirl it too much. But then there are people who prefer that to the more chunky pieces of color. Just laying this newsprint down. And I have one little spot right at the end that I'll have to get maybe a half piece. And if you remember from last time, it's not absolutely a requirement to get every bit of color out because I'm going to be using the same palette actually for everything I do tonight. So now, along with the blue that's in there, you see some of the red and the orange. Take this piece and I will drag it along. Came off fairly clean. The water looks very flat. I don't see a lot of bubbles or a lot. I had tons of particles. We were outside and the trees were blowing all kinds of stuff in it and bugs were landing in it. I had all kinds of things. And when I do that, I take a little strainer and then I just put the water in through the strainer to capture some of that. So, okay, let's start again. Do you want to set it down or you just want to hold it? Be okay? Get my little tiny bottles again. And start going. They don't come out of these little tiny bottles as fast as they do the bigger ones. And guess who that makes impatient? Now it's not going to be exactly the same. The placement of the paint won't be the same, but the design will be similar. And I really don't think one's going to notice on a roll of ribbon where one design starts and the other ends. I think I said that last time. Where one design ends and another starts is the way it should be said. Told you words were going to be difficult for me today. I'm just putting down my base so we can have nice vibrant color. We don't really care if there's spots that the white ribbon shows through because that'll just add some interest. All right, I'm going to call that good. If I can get the lid back on, we'll be doing well. Oh, that lid doesn't want to stay on it. It doesn't want to pop on. All right, so now we're adding red. I can use this water for several times over until it starts to smell bad. And I have a very, very sensitive nose. You okay? And so when it starts turning, I usually get rid of it pretty quickly. All right, let's put a little bit more red down at this end. And the yellow. I just want the entire 10 yards to be very, very saturated in color. I want the colors to be nice and bright. I think that's what I'm not liking about the silver ribbon, is that it just feels muted, but I truly believe it's because it's on the silver. That's why I generally work with a white background. I have marbled children's shoes before, little boy shoes that are black, and I used like a light blue and a white and a very, very bright blue, and they looked really cute. But generally I don't marble on a colored background. I know a lot of marblers do. So now we'll come back with some more red. I just feel there's so much you learn every time you work the tank. Different weather conditions, different fabrics, different all kinds of things. And they all want to do their own thing. Yellow. Very difficult for me not to do a whole tank, several tanks in the same colorway. I love mixing it up. I just had the desire to grab the teal, pop some teal in here, but I know I cannot do that. Orange. Just when it really, red needs to be pushed. Now I've got big clumps of orange. Just adding a little bit of red to this, and we'll probably have to come back and add just a little bit of yellow. We're going to have to go with this. Okay. come back and just pull through all of these spots where I've dropped color. If you're asking questions, I will come back afterwards and answer your questions. This is my favorite part. What a great way to end a Monday, especially the Monday I had. You want a chair? Now I could have absolutely left the paint exactly how it dropped onto the surface, but what would be the fun in that? Since this is my favorite part, I have to move it around. That's why I struggle with the stone pattern so much. I really like the way it looks once it's printed, but I have so much fun moving the paint that it's difficult for me to just leave it. Just making sure I have moved through all of the spots. Looks pretty good. Oh, I wish you could all come here and work a tank. That would be so much fun. Had a younger boy, he was probably maybe early teens, late, 11, 12, something like that. He was pretty hesitant. His friend and his brother did a hat, and then he ended up doing one too, and it was so fun watching him ponder that. All right, I think that's the way it's gonna look. So now we'll pick up where we left off. Again, straight up and down. At least as much as I can. Stop pulling. Wipe my hands. We're rounding the corner at the end. We're almost done here, actually. We're coming to the end of the roll. Once again, working around the lights and all the camera stuff. Wipe my hands again. And the last little bit, we didn't even get as far as I thought we were going to get. So it's all in the tank. Okay, so now I'm going to pull it out. Thank you, dear. Directly into the bucket. It's kind of cool because with this ribbon you can see the design on both sides. It kind of shows through a little bit. Can you see that? That's the red that's on the back. And as I'm showing you that, it's all dripping down on my table. So it's just in the rinse bucket where I'm going to leave it until I'm done. And there's the end again. See, I didn't complete my loop and back down, so we have a lot more paint left. Excuse me, a lot more paint left in the tank. You can see it, you know, right in here, there's still quite a bit of paint. Not as solid as I would have liked it, so I won't use it for anything. I'm gonna go ahead and take it off. But I can't wait to see how this one looks. It's so fun when I hang it in the bathtub. My poor guest's bathtub, the bottom, I haven't scrubbed it in a while. It all comes right off, but everything drips in there. So I have teal and blue and pink and all kinds of colors in the bottom. But I just get one of those sponges, Mr. Clean sponges. It comes right off when I get in there and scrub. So my guests always have to give me a heads up or they get a colorful shower. All right, just putting this down to, this is the exact same method as you would do a cloth or paper for that matter. I'm going to do some sheets of paper because I have a card idea. If you saw my purple swirled Idaho, I made that as a test. So I'm going to do some paper tonight to make some. Obviously, being from Idaho, I absolutely love the shape of my state, as most people do, for their home state. But if you like, when I show you what the cards look like, if you prefer one with your state on it, let me know and what colors you want, and we can do that as well. Just shoot me a message or email me. You can take a look at my website and see if there's anything interesting there. I do have an ebook that tells you all about what I'm doing, how it's prepared, and all of that if you're curious. I have a kit if you want to try it yourself. And I have lots of pretty things. All right, so let's get this off of here so I can do some fun paper. I went to the art store on Friday on my way home before I loaded the trailer and grabbed some paper. And I went to prep it on, I guess it was last night. And I had forgotten how wonderful it is, so I'm excited to use it again. This is the one that comes in smaller sheets. I wish it came in a big sheet, but it only comes in the smaller ones. So again, I'm going to drag the whole thing. Just to clean the surface. And again, I'm going to be using the same colorway. This is my colors for tonight. Once I decided on the colors, it made me feel better because I always struggle with that. All right, looks pretty clean to me. Now I'm going to put a piece of newsprint down because I don't need the whole tank for my sheets of paper. This just saves a little bit of paint. We'll stop right there. It just looks like it's just out of the screen. So now this one, I think I'm going to start with some orange. Just drop it down. I will post a picture of the, have a little piece of, I don't know what that is. A picture of the ribbon as it's hanging to dry. Did everyone have a good weekend? Let's go back to the weekend. Mine went so fast. When I have a show, the weekends are just here and gone before I'm even ready. Because Friday night's all prep, packing the trailer, getting any last minute items put together, pricing things that are not priced yet, things like that. And then we're up early and down at the venue, setting up by 7 o'clock, ready to go at 9. And then we usually get home around 4:30, and then have some dinner, unload the trailer, have some dinner, and then Saturday or Sunday is grocery shopping, laundry, those kind of things, normal things. And then it's Monday again. So these are the same colors, just using a little bit different dropping patterns, or order, dropping order. Some yellow. On this one, I can use my tools. Again, you just want to layer the paint on here. Oh, you know, had I been thinking, I would have done like our local team, the college team. Well, there's two. One's the College of Idaho team, and I can't remember their mascot right at this second. And then the Boise State Broncos. I could have done orange and blue and made some Idahos. I'd rather do gold and black because that's the University of Idaho, where my daughter is, up near where I grew up. Okay, I'm going to have to come in here with, let's do a little bit more yellow and some of these orange. Can hardly wait for graduation. I am so excited to see my daughter. Like to see my oldest daughter. Haven't seen her in what seems like forever. Okay, so now I will just start traditionally with the gelget. I always say get gel, but it's gelget. To and fro. Oh, this is so fun. We actually had, like I said, on Saturday, we had some thunder and lightning and super high winds, and then yesterday it was nice out, but the wind was just blowing like crazy. get my tool now. Do this pattern, I don't feel the need to swirl it anymore when I move it back and forth. So I have to make sure my hands are very dry before I touch the paper. And see, these are just the small sheets of paper. I'm just going to put them all right down in this tank. I have something I want to do with these, so I want them all the same color anyway. I love the way that takes the paint. And then the last one. I wish I had some strips of ribbon to lay along the side. I do hair bows for little girls, and I could also use that for my books, my hand-bound journals. If I did the fabric in the same design, or in this tank. Where'd my board go? Here it is. There's 2 sheets. So I'm just going to come over here, and I have just a bottle of drinking water. Oops. And I'm just going to gently rinse this. Over here. These dry so quickly. It always surprises me. I did not have the time to press these pieces of paper before I went live today. So you're gonna see on those 2, I noticed a few little spots. Well, and it could be just where there's no paint as well. I didn't think about that. And there's the other 2. So that's it for today. All orange, red, and yellow today. I will post pictures of the ribbon. Here, let me show you the way it looks in the rinse bucket. Hold on. Close your eyes if you get seasick. Sorry for my hands right up there. Hey there. Let's see. So that's what it looks like in the bucket. Thank you, Patricia. So that's it for today. There's what's left in the tank. I appreciate you all for watching today. I appreciate your time. I'm always just so thankful that you take your time to share it with me. I appreciate it. Watch for the pictures of the ribbon. I can't wait to see how it looks when it's dry. And I'll talk to you next Monday. I'm not sure what we're going to do yet, but I'll think of something. So bye. Have a wonderful week, everyone. Bye-bye.